She wrote this. Oh my God. And now she's like, oh, come on, guys. Just leave me alone. Ugh, when is this gonna blow over? You're really bumming me out, dude. So on the topic of delusion and cope, can we please have some fun? Can we please have some fun? I've been waiting for this to blow over, but it's been years, so I have to address it. Can one of the 100,000 leftists on here, for whom it's an essential article of faith that I am a genocide-loving Zionist, explain why, despite my condemning the genocide dozens of times and never saying anything positive about Israel in my entire life? If you can't explain it, then I have to conclude that all of you have such a terminal case of bitch-eating cracker syndromes that you... Whoa, watch the slurs. That you've actually cheapened the Palestinian cause to the level of, like, ethics in game journalism. You have cheapened the Palestinian cause. Dude, can I say something? She's so spiritually British. Tell me I'm wrong. Is she not so spiritually British? She's so spiritually British. Come on. Can I just say, also, aren't you guys tired of like this does not help your cause at all person who doesn't give a shit about your cause? Rolls my eyes as loud as possible. Wait, I thought she was British. Is she not? She's American. I don't think I'm pretty sure she's American. I don't think she's British. I'm like 99% sure she's American. She's from Baltimore. Yeah, like she's American. She just has British energy. Why is there so much anti-British discrimination on the Denims stream? Lesbian? I thought you were American. You're lying. She can't be from Baltimore. I reject. Chatter's talking about rejecting that information like it's like a demon from a church. I reject. You are not welcome here. Oh, Christ. Sure, I can take a stab at explaining it. I've never commented on your Gaza position before, but I understood where people were coming from the last time this came up, judging on your replies to others in this thread. It seems your primary objection is that you are not being judged by the same standards with which leftists judge Fox News pundits or Israeli national security ministers because you never explicitly came out and said, I want Gaza to be turned into a giant mass grave. You find it unfair that leftists characterize you as unacceptably sympathetic to Israel's mass atrocities because they wouldn't single out a Republican senator or far-right podcaster who expressed the same views as you on Gaza as for these sorts of criticism. But you are not a Republican senator or a far-right podcaster. You are not a Fox News pundit or an Israeli national security minister. This is a great way to talk about this position that I would have not thought of immediately. And yes, correct. I mean, this is like the same reason that, comically enough, this is also the same reason that she sort of criticizes Hassan so childishly? I don't know what other word to use to describe it. But when you're on the left and you're representative of people on the left, you have to be better. But being better means different things to different people, right? Yeah, no shit. We're not going to judge ContraPoints the same way that we would judge, pick literally any Republican. But obviously we wouldn't, huh? Like, I'm not going to pearl clutch when I hear, trying to think of someone that, I'm not going to pearl clutch if I hear, I wanted to use an example, but I don't want to use that example, actually. Nick Fuentes use a slur. It's like, yeah, that's, you were just born yesterday? Hello? And it's the same idea there. It's like, I don't know, maybe you should be better? I don't know what else to say about that. I'm sorry. You are doing public... Oh, and then, sorry, the other thing, too, is I think you're judged really heavily based on your general, intelligence or people's perceived opinion about your intelligence. So I think, for example, people are, nicer to and more understanding to people who come off like genuine accidental idiots. I think when Jason says... When he says, I'm getting a fucking petting zoo in my backyard... And then he brings Maya on. He's like, I didn't know all that. I'm sorry. And he's also 20-something, 21 or something. And it's like, oh, okay, you're showing remorse. You bring Maya on to educate everyone. You're trying to make amends. Okay. And no one is expecting him to be a paragon of intelligence, right? But when ContraPoints has tens of videos that are well articulated, that are hours long, with interesting scripts, people expect a little more. It's like, you're not dumb. We know you're not dumb. We know you're smart enough to understand these ideas and talk about these ideas and break them down in interesting, critical ways. The fact that you refuse to do so on this topic shows your personal bias and shows that you don't want to get involved because you feel like it's too much of a hot button topic, or because you feel like people are being too extreme in one way or whatever, etc., etc. We expect her to be better. She can't hide from like, I'm just a silly person doing silly things. Whoopsie. Yeah. And her videos on a lot of issues are very good. And the type of person that can make that video doesn't get a pass when it comes to other issues that they obviously should know better. She knows how long it takes to research a topic. She knows how long it takes to understand a topic, or even to understand a part of a topic. She just doesn't care about doing the education that, or like doing the research or whatever you want to describe it as, that other people have done for Israel or for Palestine or for the genocide. She didn't want to do it. So I don't think you get to say like, why are people so mean to me just because I didn't want to do any work on this thing that I should have done, considering how much work everyone else did. Who is she? She's like a really big YouTuber that made video essays that were good, but she doesn't really make a lot anymore as much. I don't know. You are not a Republican. Okay. You are doing public commentary in a political sector. Also, she's more obsessed with how people have perceived her position on Gaza than she is about like actually understanding the Palestinian cause. Like she cares more about her public image on that front than she does about the actual cause, which is very obvious and immediately evident to anyone who looks at any of her work at any point or any of her tweets about the topic. You seem to regard it as a tedious issue. You'd rather people de-emphasize and no. Yes, that's where we were. You are doing public commentary in a political sector which has predominantly framed your opposition to the Gaza Holocaust as the central issue of our times, and you seem to regard it as a tedious issue that you rather people de-emphasize and move past. And to be clear, I do think that there are a lot of issues that leftists tend to spend a lot of time on that are not necessarily important, or rather that it's not that they're not important, it's that there's very little ground to be made there because there aren't enough arguments that are moving. Like, this is just my opinion, right? I don't think it's worth our time to sit there and argue with conservatives about the Arschler. I think we should make offhand comments and be like, ugh, you're cringy, and then move on. Because I don't think we're going to convince a whole lot of people to stop using it by saying like, hey, consider how like this would harm these people, and like consider this and this and this. And we would all benefit just from making fun of the people who say that and being like, what are you, 14? Okay. That's kind of cringy. And then moving on. Genocide is not really one of those issues. It's just not. Not on scale, not on importance, not on strategy, just at all. Like, it's just not. It's just literally, it's just not. You are a ginormous hypocrite. You describe yourself as denims. There is no jean jacket representation. No denim shirts. I actually don't even really like jeans. Sorry. We're criticizing the person who spent months researching a video for Twilight, but because she didn't do any research on the genocide. Well, no, it's not because of that. It's because, also, first of all, she's researched topics that are important. She hasn't just researched, fun little topics about Twilight. Her videos are actually, like, I think some of them are pretty thought-provoking in ways that are pretty interesting. And she usually uses one fun topic like Twilight, or one fun topic like J.K. Rowling, or making fun of J.K. Rowling, to talk about the history of, like, transphobia. She uses and like one small interesting topic and then blows it up into something that's significantly more in depth. Like, I didn't know about the story about the orange juice lady. I didn't know that until I had watched her video, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool to know. Cool. Jot it down in my notes. So she knows what, like, in-depth research looks like. Right? And then but when it comes to this issue, she's just so much more preoccupied with how she's perceived instead of the issue. And it's cringy. It's just cringy. As an ex-fan, the most disappointing part is her obsession with how she's viewed in this issue. Instead of just righting a wrong, she could have just apologized and went, yeah, bad take, I'll be better. And she just instead tries to keep explaining how I'm not the bad guy. Trust me, I'm smarter than you. Well, she doesn't even need to say bad take, I'll be better. She could just say, I don't really understand what I said that was incorrect. I obviously stand with the Palestinian people. Maybe I should have said that sooner. My bad. Sorry I didn't say it sooner. If you want to think this about me, that's okay. I will try to do my best. And if that's not good enough, I'm generally not in the business of trying to please everyone. I'm just in the business of trying to have the right positions. I appreciate all of the input and everything. There's nothing that's going to change my mind on being against Israel's genocide. She could have just said that. And that there doesn't even need to be an apology there, right? And it's just, it's very Anna Kasparian coded. Good moment to replay the video of a guy apologizing for not knowing the necessity of a can/bottle opener. Let's continue. You made a long and hotly controversial Instagram post last year explaining why you don't feel like you should need to make a video about Gaza, in which you slammed anti-Zionism in the pro-Palestinian movement and placed Jewish feelings and concerns about anti-Semitism front and center in your reasoning. It wasn't explicitly genocide-loving, but it certainly advanced positions that were favorable to the U.S.-Israeli genocidal agenda. I mean, again, it's also like sort of similar to like her post read like someone who says, I don't have anything against trans people. I just like don't think we should be talking about that stuff to our kids. You know, so I don't know why I would talk about it. Like if you like, you don't have to be explicitly like, I love murdering Palestinian babies for people to be like, hey, you could do better. I don't know. We know that you're capable. Why are you pretending you're not capable? I don't understand. It read it as an exhausting, eye-rolling, ugh, can't we just move on from this? Dismissal of everyone's white-hot opposition to an active genocide while defending many of the dynamics which ensure that Israel's abuses will continue to occur. Even in this post right here, you describe your positions as, quote, waiting for this to blow over like it's just some boring distraction you can't wait for people to stop annoying you with. And that's just directly contrary to the present zeitgeist of the political factions with which you have aligned yourself with. People see you as pro-genocide because you are far from sufficiently anti-genocide in a political environment where being anti-genocide is of the utmost importance to people of conscience. I'm a left-wing political commentator, and if I had spent 3 years de-emphasizing and dismissing the Gaza Holocaust, I am 100% certain that many leftists would be hounding me about it to this day. Even if I made the occasional tweet about saying Benjamin Netanyahu's bad, people would see my output as not reflecting the urgency of the issue at hand, and they would criticize me as unacceptably sympathetic to the forces giving rise to the genocide. This is a great, sorry, who's posted this? Yeah, sorry, it's Caitlin Johnstone replying to ContraPoints. This is a great response. Wow, it was a very well thought out response. I hope she doesn't pull an Anna Kasparian and double down anyways and say, yeah, well, you guys were being mean to me in my replies, so I'm not going to change my mind. She also is like friends with some deranged shit lib or whatever the fuck, Stacy K or whatever the fuck her name is, and just seems to have lost her mind. It's so disappointing because Natalie was my first introduction to trans people. Was my first one and was 100% one of my inspirations to come out myself. It's sad. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. It's just like, I know this sucks. When you're held to a higher standard, you have to perform at a higher standard. But like, maybe this is me glass half fulling and silver lining too bad. Isn't that like a compliment that like people think you're smart enough to be able to have the correct position on something? I would much rather be treated that way than be treated like a fucking moron that doesn't know how to fucking tie my shoelaces. I would much rather people in the political groups that I affiliate with to be like, what the fuck? You should do better than this. Wait, whoa. No, you should have stronger words of condemnation for this. Instead of like, oh, you don't know any better, so it's okay. People would see my output as not reflecting the urgency of the issue at hand, and they would criticize me as unacceptably sympathetic to the forces giving rise to the genocide. I'm just some schmuck who posts opinions on the internet, but since you asked, that seems to be what's happening here. Sorry, it was a Reddit post, my bad. And yeah, that's like, which I don't know how many of you guys have seen her post. You're willing to write this fucking stupid diatribe and you're not willing to understand people's positions. You're just being obtuse for no reason. She wrote this fucking, oh my God. And now she's like, oh, come on, guys. Just leave me alone. Ugh, when is this going to blow over? You're really bumming me out, dude. So many leftists feel betrayed because I haven't made a video on Palestine. Do they actually want a ContraPoints video about Palestine? I have posted about Gaza occasionally and have given money to Palestinian aid organizations, but I think what leftists really want is for me to join their chorus of anger. Which, and here's the thing really quickly. Let me say, yeah, I would hope seeing a genocide that all of us are in some way funding with taxpayer dollars would upset you. And then she responds saying, is it to herself or to her own like self-posed questions by saying, is Israel committing a genocide in Gaza? Yes. Do I oppose it? Yes. Do I feel angry about it? Yes. Period. I also feel a lot of other things. So she talks about it. 1. Doom. The week after October 7th, it was clear the mood among Israeli leaders and civilians was overwhelmingly kill or be killed, existential panic, and unstoppable lust for revenge. It reminded me of the U.S. after 9/11. There was no reasoning or protesting them out of it, nor was it politically feasible for the United States to withdraw aid to Israel on a time frame that would make a difference. It would have required replacing most of Congress and overturning decades of bipartisan strategy and diplomacy. Even in the best case scenario, it would have taken years. So there was a sense of futility, but worse. Okay. If there was ever a sense of futility about anything, I feel like ContraPoints of all people should know that that's how trans people in this country and in other countries feel. The feeling of impending doom is just not good enough. Like, oh, I'm angry, but I'm also just like, I'm feeling very doomer. What? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what a bunch of horse shit, dude. Fuck off. Stop. Let's continue. She also describes, I feel misery. The leftist pro-Palestinian movement has quickly decided that their primary goal was not merely opposition to the genocide, but opposition to Zionism in general. The ethno-state that has been conducting an ethnic cleansing for 60 to 70 years? Yeah. This feels like the equivalent of saying, oh, it feels like you leftists, like, you want to remove Jim Crow laws as well. I thought all you wanted to do was just remove slavery. Unbelievable. You want to make the country not racist. What? Don't be ridiculous. What's wrong with you people, huh? Yeah, I sure hope it does. I would sure hope. Oh, sorry, we're approaching 80 years. I'm so sorry. My mistake. 6, 7. Stop. I did not do that on purpose. I would hope that you would be opposed to the factors, to the environment that created the genocide in the first place. Imagine thinking, oh, I thought you guys just wanted to stop killing the Jews in Nazi Germany. I didn't realize you wanted to change it from being an Aryan state only for the Aryan people. Well, if you had said that, then, maybe I wouldn't have gotten on board. It's like, yeah, the hope would be to change the state that allowed this to occur. This is not complicated. What are you talking about? Let's continue. That is opposition to the existence of Israel as a Jewish state, as an ethno-state. And here they decided to draw the line separating decent people from genocidal fascists, which had the following consequences. It shrunk the coalition. Hey, so really quickly, a coalition with the most useless value system that doesn't fundamentally change any of the problems that got us here is not a super worthwhile coalition. If trans people said that they don't appreciate the only LGB people, you would be a fucking moron to say, wow, you're really shrinking the coalition. You're really shrinking the queer coalition. It's like, that's not a coalition that actually cares about protecting queer identities. That's a coalition that cares about their very specific opinion. I thought she was supposed to be smart. Being smart, being able to research, and having blind spots are all different things that can exist at the same time and sometimes not at all. I think she has like a massive blind spot when it comes to this, and she just she's just Anna-Kaspariing out. And they decided to draw the line separating. Okay. It shrunk the coalition. Zionist is a very broad category. Most Jews are Zionists. Anyone who supports a two-state solution is a Zionist. It was politically infeasible. I disagree. I fundamentally disagree with this. It's politically infeasible. Again, literally, Democrats currently, Newsom says it's politically unfeasible for us to accept trans people because it makes the party look less normal. Says who? You can't just look at something and say, well, listen, it's just not feasible. What? Dude, she is kind of like the inverse Norm Finkelstein. Wait, what the hell? Continuing. What is the pathway that takes us from the present situation to the dissolution of Israel as a Jewish state? I don't see how this could happen without either a total internal collapse of Israeli society or else, nuclear war. As usual, leftists have championed a doomed cause. And, do you see the air of, I know better than you? It's so British. She's so spiritually British, dude. I think the British people should take her in. I think that they should take her in. Fuck no, we don't want her. Ha, I ousted all the British people in chat. Mods, get them. Can you imagine, again, say this about any other cause that historically has been a, quote, doomed cause. It's just bullshit, dude. Who are you to who the fuck died and made you emperor of what is and what is not a doomed fucking cause? People said this about the civil rights movement. People said this about the suffragette movement. People said this about the initial gay movement, queer movement. Hello? Sorry. Let's tone it down a second. On the other hand, there is a long history of... it introduced dangerous ambiguities, the vagueness of Zionism as a political Satan that enables all kind of rhetorical abuses. On the one hand, right-wing Israelis hold up all anti-Zionist protests as existentially threatening and inherently anti-Semitic. On the other hand, there is a long history of anti-Semites using the word Zionist in deliberately equivocal ways. Zog, etc. Anti-Semites are happy with the opportunity to misappropriate the now popular anti-Zionist label to legitimize their agenda, and many people are not informed enough about anti-Semitism to recognize when this is happening. These problems are mutually reinforcing. Yeah, except the second you talk to an anti-Semite or a Nazi about their usage of the word Zionist, you immediately can tell whether someone is pro-Palestinian or an anti-Semite. Or rather, which value they actually really care about. Oh, well, milk was used at, it was, I don't want to say psyoped, I'm forgetting the word for it. But 4chan attempt to reappropriate milk as a white power symbol. Can you imagine typing like this about that and being like, I don't think people understand how many people use milk as a white power symbol. We all need to be a little bit more co-opted. There we go. As a dog whistle. We all need to be a little bit more careful when we see people walking around buying milk at the store. It's like, I don't know, man. That guy has a giant swastika tattooed on him. It wasn't the milk that tipped me off there, man. Nazis will make themselves known. Big dog, what the fuck are you talking? It's not you can, huh? This some Nazis use the word Zionist. It's yeah, and then you talk to them for 5 seconds and you realize they don't give a shit about Palestinians. Hello? It's like Tucker Carlson. Go and watch any of his interviews. You realize he doesn't like Arab people either. Secret closeted Nazis. It's moving on from there. Moving on from that. Dread. The online left has spent the past 20 months distributing hundreds of photos and videos of dead Palestinian children. The main effect of this has been to create a population of people in a constant state of boiling blood boiling rage with no consequential political outlet. Which I think this is like the thing. This is the thing that pissed me off the worst about this post. I can't speak for everybody else. Maybe other people can comment on what they feel was the most annoying part. This was the part that was like, I think, particularly offensive. If you think that the reason that people were spreading photos and videos of dead children was to get people in a rage and then do nothing with that rage, you are very mistaken. And I don't even know how to bridge that gap for you. How many people stormed into like not Raytheon, Gunther? What's the weapons manufacturer? Oh, I'm like blanking. Someone in chat. No, it was Elbit. It was Elbit. You guys are right. Oh, Northrop. Yeah, thank you. How many instances were there of Elbit Systems facilities and like obviously the manufacturing facilities being stormed and broken and like lit on fire? The idea that like the rage never got anything that happened at any point is just so obscene. The idea that none of this led to fundraising that helped real people is so obscene. The idea that none of this had any political outlet that was valuable. Meanwhile, now we have a mayor in New York who's openly saying, I will arrest Netanyahu. This is what the people want. The people are finally ready for Palestinian liberation. Fuck that motherfucker. He shows up in New York. He's in handcuffs. Actually, no. I don't think that Israel has the right to be a Jewish ethno-state. I don't think any nation has the right to be an ethno-state. So yes, it actually did lead to political outcomes. You were just too blind to see that it ever could because you didn't believe that it ever could. Because you don't care about the issue that much. Which is fine, but you should just say that. Right? You guys fuck with blood boiling rage? I think it's important to highlight for people in chat that being Jewish is an excuse to be pro-genocide. Fear of American Jews in the West has never been put above. I mean, yes, obviously. So what does exactly Natalie want people to do instead of pushing anti-Zionism? Be upset that people are dying and then move on with your life. That's what she wants. I want it to end, theoretically. I just want everyone to stop posting about it, okay? Could you guys stop? It's just really bringing the mood down, man. It's really bringing the mood down. Stop it. Okay, I am upset too, you know. Oh, people dying, boo. But like, come on. Where are the positive vibes, man? I fear this may be worse than useless. It's literally, okay, again. So literally it was not useless, but continuing. Anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism are conceptually not the same, and conflating them is dangerous, but in practice, the way that Israel is perceived does seep out into attitudes towards Jews in general. And this is like the only thing that is in here that's even remotely correct, by the way, which is, yes, there are people whose sentiments towards Israel have leaked into their sentiments about Jewish people, and that is a depressing reality. And that is all the more reason why saying it's not a genocide, there's no genocide, and bossing say is the worst thing for our elected officials to do. The best thing for our elected officials to do is to say we should be standing with our Jewish brothers and sisters and all recognize that what Israel is doing separate from the Jewish people, that the nation of Israel is reflecting poorly on Jewish people everywhere, and we should not be standing for this genocide. We should not allow this to happen. And instead, what happened? You guys are all anti-Semites. That was actually, I think, what caused people, not caused people, but rather, I think that has harmed the dialogue significantly more than correctly pointing out a genocide. While it is correct, I feel like she just goes on to conflate the two for the rest of the post, but she also doesn't actually attempt to remedy it or correctly clock the reason why it's occurring. She just says, like, these two things are happening, and sometimes they're happening at the same time, and it's bad that that's happening. And it's like, do you not think that that's insane? That, like, the nation committing the genocide is ruining the image of the people who have nothing to do with the genocide, but you care more about the image of the people than you do about the genocide? I'm not saying you shouldn't care about both, but I'm saying it's immediately obvious to anyone who read this post what you actually care about. People. The thing you care about the most, which is insane. It would be, again, like talking about Nazi Germany and being like, I just feel like everyone's suddenly starting to hate Germans. And, you know, some of us Germans, we left because we weren't okay with that. And it's like, Okay, I hear you, man. I didn't say all Germans, but isn't it a little crazy that you care more about that than like the millions of people that are being murdered? Holy shit. Oh, she's also been completely silent on Pangria. Fuck, I didn't even know that, dude. Okay, continuing. I don't think Jews who feel isolated and wary in the current atmosphere are simply hysterical or hallucinating. Yes, there's communal trauma and hyper-vigilance, and there is disingenuous right-wing ghouls dismissing and censoring all criticism of Israel on the pretext of fighting anti-Semitism. But there's also a valid fear of historical anti-Semitic patterns recurring, and that fear gives power to the right-wing Zionist claim that only Israel can keep the Jews safe. Do you not think that Israel is relying on that at all? How about any of the interviews where they say that they're relying on that and that it benefits the nation of Israel and allows them to continue conducting a genocide? How about that? Does that push you at all? And again, instead of using this as an opportunity to say, hey, I would like to ring the alarm bell and say, all of us need to be better about making sure that we do not allow anti-Semites into the pro-Palestinian movement. We all have to make sure that we keep a watchful eye. And there were a couple protests that thankfully the organizers correctly clocked when agitators were showing up and anti-Semites were showing up and were kicking them out of the protests and saying, no, we do not agree with these random agitators. They do not belong to our cause. But instead of using that as an opportunity, or instead of using this post as an opportunity to discuss that issue and say we all need to make sure that we do not keep that this space is hostile, that the pro-Palestinian movement is hostile towards anti-Semites. She says, guys, everything you're doing it's making Jewish people feel bad, which is messed up, man. It's like, what? That was your takeaway? Your takeaway was to blame the advocates against genocide? What the fuck? Continuing. Does this mean Israel should not be criticized and sanctioned? Absolutely not, but it's something I don't want to risk contributing to if not outweighed by tangible benefits, so I approach the issue cautiously. Compare this to any movement, by the way. Does this mean that I think that, like, trans people should not be allowed to participate in society? Absolutely not. But I don't want to contribute when I don't know if it's outweighed by tangible benefits. So I'm going to approach the issue carefully. It's like, I must have misheard that, huh? Yama? Hmm? Uh, what is conviction for 500? And yeah, again, like, I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. Where, like, it's a framing issue where, unfortunately, other people can spot bullshit a mile away, even if you're trying to pretend like it's not bullshit. Or even if you genuinely don't think it's bullshit. Because I also believe that she kind of doesn't even think or know that it's bullshit, what she's espousing and how it's harmful. But when you feel that way, it's immediately obvious to everybody else how you actually feel. It's like a rightoid pretending to be not a rightoid and saying, I'm pro-Palestine. I'm fuck the patriarchy. It's like, what did you just say in 2026? I haven't heard anyone say fuck the patriarchy in like a decade. Hey, everybody, get this guy. He's a fucking poser. And if she had framed it as, hey, the reason why I'm like hesitant to talk about this is because I really want organizers and protesters to do more to make sure that this movement does not get overrun by anti-Semites. And I trust and I believe in all of the people that are trying to push for this cause and that they are, pro-human and that they want to make sure, and they are fundamentally anti-genocide, and that's why they're talking about this issue in the first place. However, this is something that I think is very important that I don't feel like enough people are talking about. And I think most people would have been like, okay. I mean, sure. Okay. Yeah. Sure, we should. I help organize locally for Palestine. We have very strict rules to combat anti-Semitism. It's dangerous to the cause, makes us easy to dismiss, and beyond all that, it's a disgusting, gross worldview. Exactly. So, like, when you don't frame it that way, and instead you're like, I just don't want to contribute because, like, what if it's bad or something? It's like, dude, what the hell? Weird. Also, why do we ignore Islamophobia? Which she mentions, like, post 9/11, but it's whatever. Let's keep talking. TLDR, I see the situation's bleak, intractable, extremely divisive, and devoid of any element that could be appropriately transformed into political entertainment. That's why I haven't made a video about it. Hopefully it goes without saying that these are just my thoughts. I'm sure other bread tubers have different opinions. Okay. So if you guys can see, this is why people were upset about her. This was the original post that she made, and many people did not like that post because it was bad. And it just assumed that the movement would be a failure before it even took off or when it was just starting. She waited that long to say, like, genocide is bad, but I don't want to help your cause because what if that's even worse or something? It's like, and then she has the audacity to say, can I just understand why you guys are so mad at me? Ugh. Such a drag, guys. Come on, please. Boo. Leave me alone, all right? But this was very well put out. And then it's kind of cringy that, like, people have written out pretty good responses. Well, this is from yesterday, over 24 hours ago. Your support for Palestine is not a raging fire, is a critique at least somewhat based in reality. You're a genocidal Zionist is not. Which again, like, need I pull up the Dr. King quote? Like, complicity or a lack of an aggressive fire when you are holding the moderate position, you are contributing to the problem. You are part of the problem. What was that quote about how white moderates are super dope and helpful and how we love them so much? I think Martin Luther King, he famously said, I love white moderates. They are the best. And I have a dream where it's just white moderates and we're all having a good time and we're partying and it's great. I think that's what he said. No. It wasn't from Birmingham jail. It was from the Birmingham Disco Club, actually. Yeah. No, that was the one. That's what he said. Because they were all having a good time. And they were like, yeah. And he's like, dude, white moderates, you guys are great. You guys are great. I like how you guys never step in to do anything ever. But you say, like, I like you. You're cool. That's exactly what he said. No, for sure. Hog points. Okay, shut the fuck up. Shut up, dude. Dude, I'm not looking forward to whatever is the insult. What would be like the hog version of Denims? Contra hog. Shut up. Khakis. There's got to be something better. No, not shoe on head. Shut up. I guess it would probably be pants on head is probably what would happen. If I ever became a conservative or a chud, or I started, like, I don't know, if I, for example, became Mr. Fetterman and had a stroke or something, and then just decided I love Israel or whatever, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's what would happen. I would just start getting called pants on leg or something like that. During all this, her main concern still seems to be how people view her, not, the genocide. Yeah.